Can we please stop calling any and everything powerful? Because most of the time, it's not. It's really not. And this came across my way. Someone was like, "Oh, this is such a powerful message and such a powerful thing." And real talk, what we're about to witness is literally nothing but distraction, guys. Is nothing but distraction. Look, I myself, I don't identify as much other than awesome and a descendant, meaning my peoples are American. We were on them ships, got sent there. My folks ended up in South Carolina on a plantation in South Carolina, and we branched out from there. All right, and that's not everyone's history. I've said this in on multiple occasions that like it's sort of like, you take a Scottish person, you take a Polish person, their histories are different, and they may both be white, right? But that doesn't mean that they're the same type of individual or they have the same, saying upbringing. So to blanket blackness all together in the same manner is foolish, because you got a whole ton of people that like to ride the coattails of something that's not their history or not in their blood. And I can't speak for Charlemagne. I can't speak for this Byron Allen gentleman who's literally been on TV for as long as I can remember. He had this late night show that was, it was like he was supposed to be a comedian, but it was just incredibly forced. It wasn't funny at all. I didn't like it. I don't particularly care for his TV persona. And he's suing to, get ownership of some media conglomerates, while nobody looks at Bill Clinton because he's the one that really broke down the function of our media back when he was president, signing that bill that made, like, broadcast companies have to consolidate, or encourage them to consolidate, to whereas it's only a select few. I think it's less than 10 major uh broadcast outlets. So with that, there's like 10 main ones, and then they all have different subsidiaries and different names and different brands to basically just confuse the hell out of everyone. So Byron Allen suing, and you got a whole bunch of people talking about how this is so great. We get to learn so much about, the blackness and how they try to keep the black man down and black man out. And like, bruh, stop it. Cut it out. Cut it out. But no, we victims, always victims. Let's go.
So the Obama administration came to me because these big corporations were trying to get bigger. They were trying to buy bigger assets. Mm-hmm. And so the Obama administration came to me and said, Comcast wants to buy this and Charter wants to buy that, blah, blah, blah. Are they good corporate citizens? And I said, do you want the Hollywood answer or do you want the real answer? Mm-hmm. They said, we want the real answer. I said, the answer is not no, it's hell no. They're not good corporate citizens.
Oh, cool story, bro. How did you figure that one out? Was it the years, decades of the media manipulation? Or maybe it was how the crack epidemic was just all over the place back in the day, and happened to be a focal point of every major news broadcast. I mean, come on, man. Seriously, dude, this is no revelation. We know these folks ain't really beat for, so like fixing anything. They're there to make money. They are companies. They are corporate businesses, corporate entities. Their bottom line is dollars. That's it. So if anybody is surprised by this, wow, welcome to life.
He says, they said, how do you figure? I said, well, the industry spends $70 billion a year licensing cable networks. 70 billion. And African American owned media gets zero.
Once again, wasn't Bill Clinton the one that signed that law? I cannot remember the name of it. But this the Telecommunication Act of 1994. I believe that's it. But Obama, it's all Democrats, all blue team, right? So mum's the word on that.
Zero, and that's not fair. Mm-hmm. And they say we hear that a lot. But what are you willing to do? They said people are afraid to speak up because of reciprocity, of repercussions. And I said I'll speak up. And
I mean, now we've had the whole Me Too movement, and We're seeing what way Hollywood went on that one. Oh, did you guys hear about the new James Bond? That just is it's disgusting. I know I did a video on it, and that's why I'm not doing another video on it. But yeah, Hollywood made its move, and at least descendants or quote unquote black folk, it ain't for you, my guys. It never really has been. But trust, there are definitely plenty of people that look just like Byron Allen, myself, or even Charlemagne the God that are in the corporate structures of these places. So, talk to them.
Said, but I'm going to do it in a way we won't have to deal with it anymore. So I filed these lawsuits that ended up being historic. I filed a $20 billion lawsuit against Comcast and a $10 billion lawsuit against Charter. And why weren't you afraid to do that as a TV guy? Once again, you got to burn the knee pads. And I knew we were...
Okay, burn the knee pads? It's Hollyweird, guys. It's Hollyweird.
To fail. We didn't have true economic inclusion, that we weren't really dealing with the fourth and final chapter. So I said, we're going to do this the right way. So we took them to court, and downtown, one of the judges ruled in Comcast's favor twice. And the other judge ruled on the Comcast lawsuit, and the other judge ruled in our favor on the Charter case. Charter didn't like it. They said, let's go to the Ninth Circuit. I said, well, if you're going to take me to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, I'll take Comcast to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Wow. So we went to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. And then something historic happened. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in our favor not once, but twice on both Comcast and Charter.
God bless America, right? I mean, it's on. Yeah, it was aggravating. It was a pain in the ass, but you still got those W's, my guy. See, there you go. Everybody's like, oh my goodness, America's so racist. Is it?
Comcast was very upset about it and said, well, we're going to take this to the Supreme Court. And now... That's going on now. Now we're going to be in the Supreme Court November 13th. You said you felt like that was an insult to the black community. It is a big insult to the black community because the truth of the matter...
Okay, see, here's the deal. Like I said, the black community is so damn small. Like, it really is. Like, it's not... Like, how do I put it? Like... by small and by black, I mean descendants. You can have people come from Jamaica. You can have people come from Haiti. You can have people come from Trinidad and make it by all means. And they always make it under that black label. But with that black label comes this presumption and that sentiment of, what happened in the 50s and 60s before those folks even got here. While our folks, those who are descendants, while we was getting our ass beat. So to sit there and blanket like, oh, well, this is just a slap in the face of the black community. Sir, to be frank, it's a slap in the face to you, but what does the black community ultimately get out of it? That's my question. I mean, you'll become you're already a wealthy guy, but you'll become wealthier. I mean, Tyler Perry has his own studio, but as far as, the quality of life for, just your average urban, because there's a huge difference. Many people just leave the urban sectors, but particularly in the urban sectors, I mean, that's never changed. It has no interest in changing. And that's where we've been affected and harmed the most. But, you like getting you in Comcast and this Charter company going back and forth. Yup, this is I'm putting the whole black community on my shoulders, like the whole thing, man. Me personally, I just take my little section. And even then, we're not monolithic. I mean, trust me, there's this and this that completely disagree. There's that whole Boule and MK Ultra thing. I don't know if these things are real or not, but I do know that when it comes to the reins of power, to say at least on at an entry level position, at an entry level state, to say that there's no people of color, quote unquote, there is nonsense.
What I need the black community to truly understand, my case really isn't in the Supreme Court anymore. We, unfortunately, are in the Supreme Court. What happened was the Supreme Court said, we're not going to look at the Byron Allen case with Comcast and Charter. We pretty much agree with the Ninth Circuit. That's a dispute between you guys. But we are going to look at the Civil Rights Act of 1866, Section 1981.
Now, what is that exactly?
Great question. The Civil Rights Act of 1866 was put on the books after, so we were freed pretty much December of 1865. And instead of getting what some historians believe, reciprocity, 40 acres and a mule, we got this law. And basically it says we will have fair contracting, economic inclusion in government contracting and in commercial contracting. Because
yeah, and we've seen how well that's played out now, haven't we? Like, they will remain 20 steps ahead. That's just the way that they like, yeah, we're going to write it down on paper, but let's see how that plays out, particularly as we introduce all these different elements, such as the war on drugs, such as, the no man in the house rule, such as the welfare state. Oh, you got your reciprocity, my guy. You just didn't get it in the manner in which actually worked for us. As far as, because I'm just going to assume he's a descendant. As far as descendants go, no, the reciprocity has been completely, it's been done, but it's been detrimental to the development of the quote unquote black family and the black, the black economic class, and as a collective. Individuals are doing fantastic. That's great, but as a collective, our family situation is worse than it's ever been. The relationship between our men and our women it's non-existent. You know that. Your wife is Caucasian, my guy. And it's not a knock, because they all pink on the inside as far as I'm concerned. But it still goes to show, like, whether at a conscious level or subconscious level, you, even yourself, Mr. Allen, have to recognize the poison that was put into our communities and into our families.
They knew that the newly freed slaves, African Americans, were not going to be treated freely in commercial contracting and government contracting, and it was essential for us to be integrated into the financial fiber of America. So this law was put on the books 153 years ago to make sure we had an economic pathway for economic inclusion. 150, it's the very first civil rights statute in America. It gave birth to civil rights, and it is the civil rights statute that allows us to have economic inclusion and stop economic genocide. So what Comcast said, and the Ninth Circuit told them to get out of here with this, Comcast said, in order for you or Byron or anybody, any minority, to use this law, you must prove that the reason we discriminated against you is 100% because you are black. The sole reason we discriminated against you, Charlemagne, is that you are 100% of the reason is that you're black. It could be 99% that you're black and 1% that you're wearing tennis shoes. And you can't use the law. You can't bring the lawsuit against me. So they're eviscerating it. They're making it impossible for you to use it.
Right.
That's the thing. That's how they've really gotten away with a lot of it. Because I'm not going back that 150 some change years. I'm talking about right now. And it's the same thing with it's like really like the same as my supremacy argument, right? Like the reason I downplay white supremacy so much is because you can think of yourself as better than someone else based solely on any other reason. It doesn't have to be that one particular reason. And it is a good thing that the Supreme Court definitely knocked that out. Knocked down that argument, because it is ridiculous. But at the same time, it's not as if like you're in this position in the first place. It's like all the progress that's been made since that time is what's placed you, Mr. Allen, in this position in the first place.
Now, that is called the but-for standard. That is what Comcast and Charter, that's what they're pushing for. They're pushing for this civil rights statute to go away. Now, what the Ninth Circuit said in favor of black folks and all minorities, Hispanics, Asians, everybody, that it's not the sole reason, which is the but-for. It's the motivating factor.
Okay.
If any part of the reason, if they discriminated against you,
it would be impossible for it to be 100%.
there it is. It's impossible. So it can't be used. So if it's 20% or 30%, any part of the reason, now you can use it. So that is why we're in there in the Supreme Court. Now, here's what's happened. Comcast went and got what's known as an amicus brief, a friend of the court, got Donald Trump's Department of Justice to write them an amicus brief saying, yes, let's roll minorities back to 1865. Let's take those Negroes back to slavery. So I thought,
they're actually putting that on the book.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to like really elaborate that on that. Well, exactly what did this amicus brief say?
The Donald Trump's DOJ wrote an amicus brief in favor of in favor of Comcast's position against us. And not only that, which we thought was...
But how does them siding on Comcast's behalf? Because I get where he's coming from. I get what he's saying. Like, oh yeah, like, you know what I'm saying, you ruled against, like, you're trying to push, like, us to the side and be able to say, oh, well, you know, I mean, I don't like your tennis shoes, to use his example. Yeah, I get that. But how does that push us back to slavery? I'm very curious.
Unbelievable and hideous. Something we've never seen. Comcast said, well, listen, we have 30 minutes in front of the Supreme Court. And Byron has 30 minutes in front of the Supreme Court. But you know what we're going to do? Comcast, this is what Comcast says. We're going to give 10 of our 30 minutes in front of Donald Trump's Supreme Court. We're going to give 10 of our 30 minutes to Donald Trump.
Okay, so first and foremost, it's not Donald Trump's Supreme Court because he's only put 2 of the judges up there. Okay? And then, oh, my guy. Because notice he backed away from it, like, damn near as soon as he said it, because he was like, oh, yeah, it's going to take us back to slavery. Wait, what? Well, you know, I mean, like, they're going to give their time to Donald Trump. Okay, stop it. This is Trump derangement syndrome nonsense. This is why I do not like the Breakfast Club. This is why I don't like any of the 3 people interviewing this man, because they're not going to sit there and ask critical questions like that. They're not going to stop him and say, wait a second, even though Charlemagne started to, but then he deflects and watch them not go back to it.
It's DOJ. So now, on November 13th, we're standing in the Supreme Court in a Donald Trump era where we've got Donald Trump.
And he just keeps saying Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald. Oh, my God. Oh, this is establishment media, guys. They're going to bring back slavery. Really? They're not bringing back slavery, Byron Allen. Honestly, what was in that amicus brief? This is disgusting. It really is. And this actually turns out to be a great example of how people use that, right? Once again, I don't know this man's lineage. He's saying how, you know, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying, I'm African American, no, I'm descendant. Oh yeah, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Got to check the rings on that. But this is ridiculous. I'm disgusted by this. I really am. And whereas I do want the Supreme Court to rule in his favor, based on the strength of, yeah, there probably could be a little bit more, equity in that. And if he has the money and he has all the other qualifications, it should be fine. But dude, this is not a good argument to make. And you got people, oh, this is so powerful. It's not powerful. It's really just confirmation bias and manipulation. Because remember, this is all Hollywood media. This man has been on television and looks the exact same as he did when I was like 12. So yeah, this is another trap, guys. It really is. But with that being said, we're gonna bring this one to an end. All the internet stuff. If you liked it, toss it a like. Dislike, go ahead, do that too. Nobody's scared of you. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice and you want to get videos like this every single day. Share, because sharing is caring. And YouTube and BitChute and like aren't the biggest fans of your boy over here. And speak. Let me know, what do you think in the comments? How does this not disturb, at least on a slight level? Because he's really saying how, you know what I'm saying, like really trying to bring this back to, oh, they're going to bring slavery back. And, you know, he put it out there and then he scurried on back with it. That stop it. Cut it out. Jesus. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, though. Until the next one.